Ho, ho, ho! It's Christmas time again. Time for eggnog, turkey, presents, family, mulled wine, and cozy times. Christmas traditions are built over epochs and eras, be it the January 1st turn of the year belonging to ancient Rome, the desired qualities of kissing beneath the mistletoe belonging to ancient Greece, or the Christmas tree first appearing in Middle Period Germany. Yet so much of what we appreciate of Christmas today belongs to the Tudor Era, be it the excitement and adherence to the 12 days of Christmas, the sweet treats of mince pies, the burning of the Yule log, or the merry spread from Christmas caroling. Button up your breeches and dust off your jerkin, and welcome to a festive history on Fleek. Today we see why Christmas just wouldn't be the same without the Tudor Era. Yes, as the famous song goes, the 12 days of Christmas show their beginnings in the Tudor Era. The tradition of fasting all the way up to Christmas Day was observed in 16th century England. A celebration of 12 days from the 25th of December to the 6th of January was a keen tradition. Much like ourselves today, both Christmas and New Year's Day marked the grandest celebrations, though the Tudors had a further important date. January 6th was known as Epiphany, or in a term closer to modern sensibilities, Twelfth Night, a celebration of the three wise men or three kings bearing gifts to baby Jesus. But make no mistake about it, the 12 days of Christmas were a 16th century staple. From the highest of nobility in their castles and keeps to those working the land and laboring, all work and labor would halt for the 12 days of Christmas. Another specific Tudor date would mark the end of the celebrations. The first Monday following the 12th night was called Plough Monday, and so work began again. Plough Monday, a minor improvement on everybody get sober and get back to work day.
Wake up, you piece of shit!
Ow! Wassailing. Done any of that recently? Maybe not. However, in Tudor times, it was all the rage. Likely, the most contemporary reference one can find to wassailing is in Christmas carols themselves. Namely, "Here we come a-wassailing." So what exactly was it? In a nutshell, wassailing was the Middle Period prototype of caroling. Yeah, caroling was a bit of a weather-bitten and medieval gruffness to it. During the 12 days of Christmas, 16th century streets would be filled with groups traveling from home to home, singing for their neighbors in the spirit of wishing well. So what's the difference between this and caroling? They brought along booze, that's the difference. A few houses in, and the quality of singing may have taken somewhat of a hit. The wassail was a bowl carried around by this merry band of sauced singers. And guess what's inside? The grog! Typically, a wassail bowl would be filled with wine, warm ale, or a spiced cider, and passed among the singers. The term wassail comes from an old Anglo-Saxon term, was hail, a medieval toast to good health. There was a less popular wassailing tradition that was much more the same but blessed flora instead of people. Despite dating to the 16th century and showing strands of paganism, cider-producing parts of the UK and US still have wassailing traditions to this day. So yes, as you may have guessed, Tudor times are very much responsible for the Christmas carols we know so well today. Either the people went off the drink, or maybe they just went off the singing after the drink. But in time, wassailing lessened in popularity and caroling became the norm. Most curiously and charming, so many of what we regard as Christmas carol staples were bangers in Tudor times too. Good King Wenceslas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, and the First Noel were all belted out by those in breeches, doublets, and jerkins centuries ago. Though the fun would be stopped for a few centuries, it turns out. Puritans in America and England would ban Christmas festivities in the 17th century. Apparently, caroling wouldn't come back till the Victorian era. Trust a bunch of Puritans to ruin all the fun. Here's one for the kids, or one for Santa and all his elves. No doubt working a double shift. What may increasingly feel is an over-commercialized aspect of Christmas, the giving of gifts, actually shows its roots way before any screen-drenched capitalism. Tudor times held their tradition themselves, but perhaps not on the day you might be expecting. Unlike our modern traditions or gifts being exchanged on Christmas or Christmas Eve, times previous would be found exchanging their gifts on New Year's Day. Now, Tudor tradition cannot hold claim to the New Year's gift exchange. Historically, this goes back to ancient Rome, though that's not to say it wasn't significant. Gift exchanges on the first day of the year were just as important for monarchs as for anybody walking the Tudor streets. Henry VIII would accept Anne Boleyn's Pyrenean boar spears on the first day of 1532. He would also reject Catherine of Aragon's gold cup on the same day. Henry VIII was not a man for sensitivity or subtlety. These New Year's gifts were something taken seriously by all. Take another example. The imprisoned Duke of Norfolk attempted to appease Queen Elizabeth I with a magnificent jewel on the first day of 1572. The Duke of Norfolk was hoping to appease a monarch he'd conspired to overthrow. It didn't work. She had his head chopped off within a year. Christmas time. Snow, sleigh bells, fireplace, wine, and, well, love. Tudor times have a legitimate claim to the cuddly love and warm romance in the air at Christmas time. Fascinatingly, a Christmas decoration with a romantic and kissing connotation actually predates the Christmas tree as a staple. While the Christmas tree found its beginnings in the 16th century Germany, it wouldn't be a normalized fixture elsewhere till centuries later. What was Tudor tradition and precursor was a kissing bough. These boughs were made of woven wood hoops with holly and bay leaves among them. As you may have supposed, yes, mistletoe was a non-negotiable feature of any kissing bough. While kissing under the mistletoe dates back to ancient Greece, its suspension from the ceiling at Christmas time is thanks to our Tudor forebearers. Ah yes, mince pies, a beloved Christmas tradition for many. We can thank the Tudors for. When Advent kicked in for Tudor Era England, it may not have been the most joyous of 4 weeks. In fact, outside of the nobility, Advent may have meant those hardly eating healthy meals day for day, eating even less. You can bet that come Christmas Day, the British were pretty hungry. Known as Christmas pies at the time, mince pies were a welcome breaking of Advent's month-long fast. Enjoyed for all 12 days, they were not sweet supplements, but pies filled with actual meat. Typically chosen was mutton, to signify baby Jesus, shepherd visitors of the Nativity. If one were a Tudor mince pie maestro, one would make them with 13 ingredients to represent Jesus Christ and his 12 apostles. Not just the body of Christ, but all his pals too. Another immortal image of the festive period, the Yule log, has a Tudor time tale as well. Not exclusive to Tudor England by any means, a symbolic Yule log belongs to the Vikings in origin. Traditional celebrations of winter solstice show the burning of a Yule log. Yule was a traditional winter festival of Old Norse society, and to this day, Christmas in Scandinavia is known as Yule. The Tudor Yule log was an important element in the yearly celebration. Commonly, families would get to their nearest woods where they would pick a log to take home, decorate, then place it in the fire. The custom was to keep the log burning for the 12 days of Christmas. When the 12 days were up, the family would have the burned remnant of the log, and this was supposed to bring good luck for the coming year. If a family had truly been blessed, last year's Yule log could be used to light the current year's fire. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all. This is History on Fleek, and we'll see you next time.